Hi, Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your December 2021 full moon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Leo. How will Leo be affected by the December 2021 full moon? Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Lovers at our root, which is Gemini energy. Now this full moon is in Gemini, so this energy of this full moon is going to be quite intense for us, Leo. Then we have the moon, which is Pisces energy, but it's also the moon. So this moon really is quite strong. Also, if we have Gemini or Pisces within our natal chart, this part of our personality comes through very powerfully at our root. It's going to be a very powerful root form of our personality. We have the Eight of Swords, and we have the Six of Swords. Interesting combination. We have the Queen of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, amplifying the Pisces energy here at our root. We have the Eight of Wands, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, so this is the fantastical menagerie. So we're just going to take that out. That's what deck it is. This is the Queen of Swords right here, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And we have the Four of Wands. So that's actually really quite powerful. It's amplifying, again, the Gemini energy here at our root, which I really do like for us here, Leo. Let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of, angels and spirit guides. We have Freyalt, which is temperance. This is Sagittarius energy. We have to be mindful of balance. And we have to be mindful of how we're balancing things within our lives, for ourselves, what we're moving forward to. And we're also going to have to be mindful of wanting to take wisdom on and have it be right for us. Meaning that what Spirit is saying is there's a journey to wisdom. There's a journey to, or just a sense of peace, a sense of harmony within our hearts, within our souls, within ourselves. And this is a journey that we're on. And we can want to say, oh, somebody else's, truth. We can be listening to somebody and we'll say, oh, their truth is my truth. Like that rings so true for me, but it's not going to be everything. So just very much be mindful of this during this time. It can also be with people's successes. It's like, wow, okay, that worked really well for them and that sounds like a really great idea, but we can find that it's not ours. It's not our way of being. Or we can also find that we thought it was going to be a certain way. We thought we were going to be moving forward a certain way, or there's going to be some way that inspired us, and it winds up that we're inspired by a totally different way of being. So just keeping our eyes open, keeping our hearts open, that's going to be the game changer here. And let's look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is holistic health. This is one of my absolute favorite cards in the whole entire deck. It is our root energy. It is a sense of taking care of ourselves, taking care of our souls, taking care of our bodies, holistically empowering us, saying, who am I and what do I need? It's also looking at what we love and what we want. It's getting back to the earth. It's connecting with the earth, which we can find to be astoundingly powerful for us during this time. It's also going to be the sense of opening up doors, this sense of grounding to the earth, to ourselves, and to our bodies, really listening to our bodies, listening to the way that we need to move forward in our lives and what we're embracing for ourselves. This can be taking vitamins. This can also be listening to what foods make us feel good, what foods don't. I mean, I found that eating wheat is absolutely horrific for me, and stopping has been absolutely life-changing. So wheat, gluten, which sounds so common, everybody says it, but really it was hiding something that really needed to be addressed. So even if we think, oh my gosh, it's just a trend, everybody's doing it, maybe when we try certain things, we realize that our body has been screaming for this and that we really need to embrace it. I also love barefoot shoes. Yes, of course, don't start running in them right away. You have to have time for your Achilles to drop, but just connecting with the earth, being able to feel the ground beneath our feet, that's something that we don't realize we've disconnected from. And so here, especially if we live in a city, or, if we're just always so busy and we're not being in the moment, that's something that pulls us in the moment, pulls us in the now. And it's just going to be something that's so powerful for us. It really is. And it's going to be things that we just don't think of. It could be seeing an acupuncturist. It could be seeing a nutritionist. It could be looking at things and saying, okay, what is it that I need in my life that, I'm not listening to myself for? And starting to take those vacations, or starting to take the little tiny trips, starting to be out more in nature, or starting to just be in the places that we want to be in, and lifting up our spirits, not pulling us down all the time with chaos and chaos and chaos, and this fire and that fire, and having to, be so intense. So just being mindful of this. Now, let's start with the astrology of this time. We have the 18th of December is the full moon in Gemini. And this is one of the absolute best moons and best ways to end 2021. The full moon in Gemini is very lucky, therefore making us very lucky. And we have that power of that moon right here at our root. It is a powerful, intense thing. This is because it is strong. There's a strong influence of Jupiter during this time. We will have to be mindful because not everything is going to be smooth sailing, but it's going to be pretty darn close. Things are going to have a way of working themselves out during this moon. Things are going to have a way of moving forward during this moon. That's really going to be surprising. The sun is opposite the moon, and that's how all full moons begin, with the sun opposite the moon. And this power lasts for about 2 weeks after the full moon. It can last longer depending on how moon sensitive we are, depending on how, impacted we are by the moon. So this always brings us closer to our relationships. It always brings our close relationships into focus. The full moon always does. We also are very aware of the differences in the different directions that we're being pulled in our lives. And how we need to open up to what we need, what we want, what we desire, how we need to be open with ourselves, what is draining us, what isn't draining us, how we feel pulled into different directions and yet can want to be like, oh no, I can handle everything. And Spirit's saying you don't have to be Superman or Wonder Woman. You are human, and there are times where we can be drained and overwhelmed. The thing with the full moon is that it enhances our emotions and our intuitions. Like, we're at our peak with our emotional EQ, with our intuition, with our, sense of understanding. Our increased emotional strength and intuition helps us. It really does. It helps us to see what we need to focus on. It helps us to overcome challenges. We are more aware of our subconscious understanding. We're more aware of what's hidden from us. And we'll find ourselves relying on our intuition more and more during this time. It is also significant with the end of a cycle. It's a significant end of a cycle. So the full moon brings the end of the cycle from the new moon to the full moon. And this is a time where a spotlight is shown on certain things that we need to be aware of, things that we need to move forward in. We need to know what to let go of. And this is a time that we really see this. Now, the last hours of the North Lunar Node will be in Gemini during this time. So during this full moon. And that's important because the moon is about Gemini. So here, Gemini is represented by Mercury. Mercury is in Capricorn. So this makes the energy of the North Lunar Node in Gemini much more rational, much more grounded than it usually is. And so we're able to really embrace this sense of the answers you need are coming, this sense of communication and insight and ideas, because this means that we are perceiving things well, we are articulate, we are achieving, we are really going after what we want. And this opens us up for what we want to lay the foundation for 2022, the angel year, the angel number year of new beginnings, which, I mean, my goodness, do we need. Now, we're also going to enforce what we want to achieve. We're going to really be looking at it and saying, what do I want? Where do I want to be? And we're going to find certain doors opening to us that, again, where we see with what to be mindful of. We never thought to head in that direction. And yet Spirit's saying, why? Why not try it? Even if we don't like it, it's like, well, at least I tried, at least I saw, at least I did. Now, the full moon is going to be in discord with Neptune. Now, this is going to be powerful for us because here at our root, we have the Pisces energy, the moon, which represents Pisces. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Now, Leo, we are ruled by the sun. So we would think that, okay, Cancer ruled by the moon, they'd be most affected by a full moon. But because this is the sun opposite the full moon, there is a power to the sun here. We will find, Leo, that full moons affect us too. Maybe not in the same way, but it affects us in a way of it reflects our light back to us. But it reflects it back to us in a way that has it dimmed, that has it focused, that has us understanding the way that we need to move forward and what we truly desire. With the full moon in discord with Neptune, Neptune is our spiritual understanding. It's our sixth sense. It's our gut reaction. It's our beliefs. It's our hopes and it's our wants. So really understanding where Neptune is within our natal chart, really embracing our Neptune is really important. The fact that it's in discord with it means that we're looking at things from a higher spiritual understanding and we're looking down at our waking world, at what truly is, and we're saying, okay, how do I move forward? Where is it that I want to be? What is it that I'm opening myself up to? What is it that I desire? And we start to look and really see our dreams. We start to look and really see how we want to start to incorporate our dreams into the waking world and how our dreams become an active part of our reality. Lilith, the black moon, is in Gemini. Gemini is so important during this time, and we have it here right at our root. We have it amplified by the Queen of Swords in the public arena. This moon is intricately involved in our lives. So the black moon in Gemini, this makes it so that we believe something that is not true. Okay, we're going to have a belief in something or we're going to think something and we need all the facts. We need to look at it. We need to research it. We need to not just take people's words on it blindly. We need to know. We need to go right to the source. Firsthand information all the time during this time is going to be so important. So make sure that we verify what we're being told. If we don't have the facts, don't act. Now, this energy is going to kind of dissipate around the 20th, meaning that we won't have a belief in something that isn't true. Around this time, it starts to dissipate. We start to let it go because we're going to see the influence of the black moon clearing up, of Lilith clearing up, and that's going to be really beneficial for us. The moon is trine Jupiter. Now, this brings positivity, good luck, wealth, abundance, happiness. We have the ability to grow spiritually, personally. We know what it is that we want for our happiness, for our higher self, for our wisdom, for our health. Our health is actually going to be really important to us, which Spirit is saying here actually, because a lot of times we ignore our body, we ignore ourselves and just think, keep on pushing forward, keep on, trudging on. And what Spirit is saying here is that we need to take care of ourselves, that the vessel of our souls is astoundingly important. We don't feel as alone in this alignment with the full moon trine Jupiter because it's easier for us to share our feelings. It's going to be easier for us to find rewards in our relationships and through socializations, going out, connecting. These are things that are going to feel a little bit natural, So here we'll be open and honest in our goals, in what we want, in what we're looking for in our lives, and what will benefit us personally, in our personal relationships and in our business relationships, in, just our lives in general. What we have to be mindful of is this open energy can kind of be used against us by people of lower base energy vibrations who will see our openness, who will see our caring, who will see our compassion as something to be exploited. So just be mindful of sabotage, of them trying to cheat us, and just be aware. It's kind of like trust everyone but brand your cattle sort of mentality here. This is a wonderful also alignment for the holiday season because it promotes goodwill and generosity. The full moon is Quincus Venus. So Venus goes into retrograde 6 hours after the full moon on the 19th of December, because I believe the full moon reaches its apex in Eastern time, so like New York time, at 11:35 p.m. or around that time, if I remember correctly. This makes things tricky. So with Venus going into retrograde 6 hours after the full moon on the 19th of December, this makes it tricky. This is something that is wonderfully balanced by the energy of Jupiter. But what we have is, and Jupiter is one of the most positive planets, is that there's a strong alignment with a sense of a need for love, a need for affection. With the full moon Quincus Venus, we're going to see that we find this tricky. We find it tricky to really find a balanced connection with our relationships, with what we love, with what we need, with what we want during this time. Now, this can either make us feel taken advantage of, or this can make us feel smothered, depending on where we are in our relationships and the role that we're playing. This is a time to act. This is a time to act on what we feel, to let ourselves be aware of what we feel, but not to act and say, well, if it's not like this, I'm just going to leave, or I'm just going to, get mad and throw a fight. What we have to be aware of is we have to step back and we have to look at our hearts. We have to look at what we desire from love, and we have to ask ourselves certain questions. How do we love ourselves? How do we want to be loved in our lives? Are we putting up with things that just aren't okay? That if a friend told us they were putting up with this, we'd be like, what the heck are you doing? Leave them, or, find a new job. You deserve to be treated better. Why are we putting up with this? Even if we're not in a romantic relationship, or even if our relationships are going really well, externally, we have to look at our internal relationship with ourselves and saying, am I treating myself correctly? Am I taking care of myself? And this can be a time where we start to see a shift in the way that we care for us. The full moon is Quincus Pluto. Now, this alignment can increase our imbalance in our relationships. It can make us get really real with ourselves really fast. It's like, no, wait, I'm coming way back to reality. I'm looking at things much more distinctly, much more openly, much more clearly. And we need to share our feelings with somebody that we trust to be able to work things out. Now, it can be journaling. It can be having a spiritual advisor. It can be, having a therapist, or talking to a friend, talking to a family member. This is a way that we avoid a crisis that is coming. A crisis of faith, a crisis of understanding, a crisis of self, a crisis of development. And we can also see during this time that we may need to start to look at things differently. We might be having a bit of a problem with thinking of things in the abstract. We can have an all-knowing, all-seeing, all-powerful God, and we can have trouble visualizing that because we look at all the pain and all the suffering in the world and say, but why? Why is this here? And so if we need to look at things that are more concrete, if we need to start seeing the wonder in things that are before us in this waking world, okay, that's going to be the game changer. So we can say, I believe in the land that I walk upon, in my connection with the earth. I believe in the water that quenches my thirst, the food that feeds me, that nourishes me, that guides me, that brings me, mental understanding. I believe in the tree. I believe in the flowers. And if we have to start there and build, then that's where we have to start. And we don't have to think, oh, there's something weird about this. No, I need to be connected. Because sometimes the abstract is not what our soul is longing for. So just be aware of this and be open with ourselves. Venus conjunct Pluto is also during this time. And this makes us love the idea of being in love. This increases our want for love and affection, but it increases our love for, that eros love, the erotic love, the love of the high of being in love. So just be mindful of this, that we can really, really mistake lust for love during this time. And so we just have to be aware of this. We have to be aware of this and not be swept away by lust and think that it's love. So just be mindful. We have the fixed stars. So the fixed star Betelgeuse, which is located in the constellation of Orion, comes into play. This brings mental honor, it brings promotion, it brings wealth, and will relieve our immense stress. It really will. The question, no, it will relieve immense stress by revealing an immense strength. So what happens here is that we have to question. We have the question of what makes me strong? And how am I being tested in this strength? So it's almost like the blade is being put into the fire. We have the air sign energy here. Remember, swords are forged, they're put into fire, they're hammered and hammered and hammered. Any imperfection comes out. Things could have to be scrapped, start all over again. We're going to see our strengths. We're going to find what needs to be started over or what needs to be looked at differently. That's going to be really important. This is also known, Betelgeuse is also known as the workaholic star. There's no halves when it comes to Betelgeuse. It's either you're all in or not at all. And that's going to be very powerful to understand. This alignment of the star and the power of the sun, the power of the moon coming together makes us swift of mind, strong-willed, rebellious, resistant to the feeling of being controlled. We really want to be free and discovering during this time. We do not like authority figures or people having authority over us. So just be mindful of that. We'll balk against that. And it can bring great power, great honor, and great wealth. So just not getting in our own way of rebelling against authority can really help us to achieve success. The constellation of Orion brings us strength. It brings us dignity. It brings us self-confidence. It also brings us inconsistency, arrogance, violence, impiety, but it also brings success in trade, especially overseas. So just being mindful of this, we don't really want to embrace the inconsistency, the arrogance, the violence, or the impiety to our lives or to the world around us. So just being aware. Now we also have the fixed star Polaris, which is located in the constellation of Ursa Minor. Now this star is tricky. So this is not as positive as Betelgeuse. It can cause sickness. The star Polaris can cause sickness. It can cause trouble. It can cause loss of fortune and disgrace. Legal and inheritance issues can come up during this time or can have a evil tinge to them under this star. But the kicker with this star, this star tends to guide what is needed to look at, what we need to look at, what we need to fix, how we need to embrace, certain scars within our lives or certain cracks that are forming. And what we're going to see is that if we catch them quickly, we can fix it. But if we don't catch it and we let it just go off, it tends to go off. So the thing is, astrologically speaking, the bears, Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, are said to be evil influences, especially over nations and kings. So this power that comes forward from Polaris, it's going to affect much more nations and kings. And then it's going to trickle down into us. So the people in power, right? The people in charge. There's going to be shifts that we see. There are going to be certain issues that come up. We have to just be mindful of this. We have to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, that we are taking care of our communities, because we can find that there's just trickiness here. So just be mindful. All right? At our root, we have the lovers. We have this moon bringing us connection with the sacred feminine, the sacred masculine, bringing us connection with ourselves and what we desire and what we love and what we want. It's bringing the passion back. The passion is back. The power is back. The intensity is back. And it has us looking at this moon. It has us looking at a lot of the fears that hold us back, that keep us from moving forward the way that we want to, the way that we need to. It has us doubting ourselves. It has us looking at things in different ways, because the moon, the energy here, has the subconscious and the conscious needing to come together and seeing where the discrepancies are in our lives for ourselves and how our foundation is shaken. So just be aware of this. We're having a healing energy come as we are facing the fears that hold us back, that deny us, that keep us from moving forward. The 8 of Swords is being way too much in our own heads. We can overthink, overanalyze. We can let the fear that comes from Polaris, the fear over nations and kings and things that are out of our control, absolutely petrify us. And we can't stop living our lives. So it's going to be very important for us to look at the fears that we have, the fears that come in externally, the fears that come in internally, the doubts and the apprehensions that we have with being able to move forward in our lives and what we love and what we want. People could have told us, you'll never be able to. This is a time to prove them wrong, not to say, oh, you're right, I'm just going to hide away. This is a time with the Six of Swords where we gather up our knowledge, where we gather up what we desire, and we move forward. We move forward to something more. We know that our angels are guiding us in this. Is going to be cloudiness, so it's not going to be that we absolutely see and have everything revealed to us instantaneously, but it is going to be a time where we start to look at things more and more for ourselves, for what we desire, for what we want, for what we need, and we're going to see that we're on a bit of a journey during this time because we're entering into the new beginnings of 2022. We're entering into the new beginnings that we want for ourselves, that we desire for our souls, the way that we're opening up what we want, and it moves us to the Queen of Cups. It moves us to this healing, beautiful love. It moves us to a profound connection with our hearts that can actually be breathtaking for us, Leo. We're like, wow, how did I get here? Like, what is this energy that is around me? What is this connection with my emotions and myself and what I love and what I want and what I need? And how does it move me forward? And where do I need to be? And what is it that I desire? And all of a sudden, we're looking, we're seeing, and we're understanding more and more and more. We're going to be looking at a lot of chaos within the world, a lot of emotional chaos that is around us. We're embracing the heart chakra. We're cloaked in the heart chakra. The heart tells us more than we ever realized it could. And it brings us to the Eight of Wands. It brings us to things moving really, really fast once we have that connection with our heart, with our soul, and with ourselves. The repeat here of the number 8. Do we have the repeat of the number 8? Yes, right here. There we go. This makes things a little bit difficult. This makes things a little bit tricky. We can tend to be too literal about things. The repeat of the number 6 here has a healing coming forward, has a sense of being nurtured and being taken care of and being loved and being connected. And that's going to be really powerful for us. We then have the Wheel of Fortune. Everything is changing. As everything is changing, we are stepping into our power. We are stepping into ourselves, but we can feel emotionally a bit of a roller coaster ride. Highs, lows, lefts, right, like things are a lot more intense than we had thought they were going to be. But we enter into a new season. We enter into a new understanding of what we desire, of what we need, of what we want within our lives and in ourselves. It brings us to the Queen of Swords. In the public arena, we're not putting up with any nonsense. Now, the Queen of Swords can get a bad rap. She's, a hardest. She's a person who isn't loving, isn't caring, isn't connected. No, that's not true. She's a person who's getting the job done and will not be distracted by other people's nonsense or by, things that aren't relevant at this time. She's worked super hard to get to where she is, and she's not going to have that be taken away. And that's an energy that we're really embracing here. We're really embracing the fact that I want things to move forward in knowledge and in understanding. I'm cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. I've worked hard for what I desire, and I'm not letting anybody take that away from me. And as we say this, we enter into the Four of Wands. We enter into new opportunities. We enter into new celebrations. We enter into this sense of, of opening up doors, of being able to celebrate our lives, being able to celebrate our hearts, being able to connect with family and friends, and just celebrate existence. And that's something that we've been waiting for. That's something that we've been missing. This can lead to new job opportunities. This can lead to, moving house. This can lead to new opportunities opening to us that we never expected. But it is going to be a powerful shift that moves us forward, a powerful way that we start to see things that we hadn't seen before. And this brings us to our lunar connection. This brings us to needing to see what the moon has to say for herself. So angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So at our root, we have your dreams need a practical plan protection. We are protected. We have the full moon in Taurus coming in right here. We are protected as our dreams need a practical plan, as we are moving forward to the unknown, as we're embracing what this moon has to offer, as we're opening up our hearts, as we're finding our answers, as we're learning the questions. And it moves us to our inner selves, which says nothing is yet set in stone. Pleasure. Nothing is yet set in stone, and there is still pleasure to come within our lives. There's still pleasure to lead us forward. There's still ways to connect. And it's really saying here, don't don't write it off. Like, don't write yourself off. Don't write joy off. Don't not connect with your heart, your soul, and yourself, because it's opening up the door. You're going to see that pleasure, that love, that connection, that joy, that bliss. It means something. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. He didn't mean that every single day of your life was going to be, a heel-clicking, sing in the street type of experience. But what he meant is that there needs to be joy to it. There needs to be beauty to it. Or else life becomes unbearable. It becomes a sadness that never ends. And what the moon is really saying here is nothing is set in stone. The hardships that we are going through, the lack of beauty or pleasure within our own lives, now we are embracing our hearts. Now we are embracing our souls and ourselves, and that transports us. It moves us to our it moves us to our lunar emotional selves. And it says, work through your fears. And that's going to be what we're doing to the new moon, because we have the new moon right here. And that's on, I believe, the 2nd of January. The new moon comes in. We work through our fears. We embrace what it is that we desire. We see that we're walking through a portal. We're walking through an understanding. And we're embracing something new, something more, something intense, something that we hadn't thought of. And it comes through the darkness. It comes through the quiet. It comes through the new moon. It brings us to the lunar public arena self. And it says your hard work is paying off. It's the new moon in Capricorn coming through right here. And that Capricorn energy is where Mercury is, right? Mercury is in Capricorn, the ruler of the planetary alignment. Well, the moon is in Gemini, right? And the planetary alignment that rules Gemini, Mercury, is in Capricorn. So here it says your hard work is paying off. As we embrace this moon, as we embrace our questions, our hard work pays off. Resistance. We're resisting being crushed down. We're resisting being told what our happiness should be, being told how our lives should be, being, looked at and not being seen. There's a real sense of I'm seeing me. And it moves us to our subconscious lunar message. And it says here, it's a time to give rather than take, which is what the holidays is all about. It's a time to give of thoughts and ideas and of joy and of love and of connection. Because the path comes from the heart. The path comes from the smiles that we share with our neighbors. The path comes from the beauty that we have within our own lives. We could be the richest people on earth and yet the poorest people of soul. And so here, we're learning a new path. We're seeing a new way forward. It brings us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, and it's the Prince of Wands. It's being caught up in the fire and in the conquest and in the determination of it has to be like this. This is a person who has no flexibility. We're going to be very kind of intoxicated by this because we have this tendency within us as, fire sign energies. We can be a little bit rigid. We can be a little bit like, no, it has to be like this to move forward, to blaze forward, to change things, to have things be. And sometimes we're right. But here, we need to embrace a flexibility of heart and of soul and not just of conquest. It moves us to our subconscious chakra energy. And that's clarity. That's the third eye chakra. We're seeing things so much more clearly now than we have before. It moves us to our subconscious rooted energy. And that's judgment. That's our angels raising us out of darkness. That is a sense of rising out of the box that society put us in, that we put ourselves in, that we thought this is the path to happiness. And we're rising to our hearts and to our souls. We're rising to our angel's call. We're rising to the music that's playing within our very being, if we take the time to listen. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that's the Six of Cups. We're going to have something from our past want to pull us down, want to hold us back. Even if it's just, wow, I loved, the holidays with these people, and these people may have passed, or, those traditions aren't anymore, or, they haven't been upheld. What we're going to find is that we bring them back. What we're going to find is that the love of the heart changes things. But we also have to be very mindful of letting melancholy come over us. A sense of it will never be the same, because we can never repeat history. We can't. We change it, we mold it, we move with it. But we can't live in the past. It brings heartbreak and pain. We also have to be very mindful of the hurtful, hateful words of others that bring us down, that we've carried with us for years upon years, maybe even decades upon decades. The words of parents or caregivers or people who are supposed to build us and help us, who are supposed to love us and nurture us. And they just gave us hate instead, or hurt, or pain, or disappointment. And now we're seeing ourselves evolve. Now we're seeing ourselves look at that hurt and that pain and that anger and that fear and that despondency and say, I'm not carrying this with me anymore. It can't even be something as simple as a friendship that ended. And we can feel guilt over that, or we can think, maybe I should have tried harder. And then we need to realize that some relationships come to a natural end. And we need to honor the ending. And we need to move forward towards our new beginnings. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self. And that's the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is very much the sense of, I've been through battle. I've done this before. I've seen this. And I'm not backing down. I'm not going to be your doormat to walk over. We might look at the Five of Swords and say, oh, well, this is bad sportsmanship. You should give them back their swords. That's not how it was done in medieval times. You gave them back their swords. You were weak. You were somebody who could easily be conquered. You were somebody that everybody would be vying for because they could get your land and your power or your money or even your sword, which was worth a lot and held a lot of prestige. So here we hold on to what we have won. And we don't let others bully us around anymore. It's like, no, this is a new day. This is a new year. This is new power. It moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And it's the Emperor. It's Aries energy. It is the sense of, this is my fire. This is my passion. This is my determination. This is myself. I am the god of war. And it transforms everything. I am determined. I am focused. And I will not be held back. We're claiming our throne. We're claiming the power of our voice. We're not backing down. We're not these meek wallflowers. We're strength. And that's going to be the game changer also of this moon, that we are embracing such strength within us. All right, Leo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this full moon. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Leo, and may you have a blessed moon.